Hi everyone. Great to see all of you.
Hello.
Yep, and we have a couple of minutes before we start the session in about 4 minutes time. So yeah, just wanted to hear from our speakers today, Mata, Myat, and Nabiha, a little more about your personal life. So yeah, could you share with everyone like what movie or show have you been watching recently?
Okay, I'm going to share first. I am I really love to watch the fantasy movie, kind of Disney. So I watched Raya and The Last Dragon third time already. Yeah, this is my first. It's like my favorite cartoon movie ever.
Wow.
I thought that Raya is kind of adapted for our region. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. Is it? Like, do you see the cultural references?
Yeah, I love the corridor so much, the Raya corridor. So finally, she can believe like someone again, something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That's very inspiring.
So recently, I haven't seen any movie, but most of the time when I got some free time, I love to watch Friends season like all the time. I love to watch that.
Believe it or not, so during the COVID lockdown was the first time I watched Friends ever in my life.
Oh,
And I watched all 10 seasons of it during lockdown because I had nothing else to do but watch TV.
that season is most popular in the even this is too old, but still too much popular in university especially.
There were some jokes that go like, ooh, if you say this joke now, they're gonna me too you. What about you, Mata?
Yeah, actually, I was watching movie, but I seldom watch movie because once I watch movie or K dramas or C dramas, I cannot stop watching that.
Until
So,
the end.
Yeah.
Wait, what is a
So-
C drama? I get a K drama, that's Korean. C drama.
K drama. Yes,
C drama is Chinese drama.
Okay.
Yes. So
Actually, right. So that's just drama to me.
So actually, I've been recently watching Startup in Netflix.
Oh.
So yeah, that's a good series.
So handsome.
Yes.
Okay, wait. So Mata, you're a founder of a startup and you watch startup. So do you
Yes,
think
yes.
it's realistic? Like, you do like it? You think it's realistic?
Does the startup series inspire you to like have startup? I definitely watch. I definitely should watch.
I think it's realistic.
Wait, did we just hear that Sumya say you want to watch to be inspired to start your own startup? I hope your boss is not watching this.
I hope. I hope he may not hear.
Like, wait a minute, she's paving the way out. Yes, I think entrepreneurship, or starting something while you're still in a full-time job is always a great idea while you're validating it. So good on you.
I'm
But,
even more
how
focusing on the
long-
like constant phase rather than the startup stuff. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Mata, how long did you take to finish the startup series?
1 day.
Wow.
One day.
Yeah, I watch on the last Saturday and then finish on Sunday. Yeah.
Wow.
So for the whole
Wow.
weekend.
So you've been watched now. Because I mean, this is like years ago, but the last Chinese drama that I got sucked into, I think my sister and my mom used to watch it at home, and then I saw one episode and I started watching, and I didn't sleep for 4 days. I took MC, I think, on one of the days to finish watching it, so it was very bad. And after that, I promised myself that I will never do series again because I was so embarrassed that I took medical leave to keep watching TV.
Oops.
That was like 10 years ago, okay?
Wow.
Uh,
I think
Wow.
these are
I'm sure.
addictive. a little bit addictive.
I have a problem with like suspense. I can't stand suspense. I need to know what's gonna happen like right now, which brings me to right now. I really, really want to hear all of you go.
Wow, that's a great segue into the session, Janice. Yeah, so I think we are gonna start the session really soon. So meanwhile, we'll just move all the speakers to the backstage, and we'll see you in a short while.
See you, ladies.
Yep. Hi everyone. Big hello to you again, and I'm Jia Xing.
And I'm Janice. We're both from the Google Developer Relations team looking after our developer and startup community in the Southeast Asia region.
Thank you for joining La Kopi today, and we hope everyone is keeping safe and well wherever you are. So do leave a comment in the live chat and let us know where you're tuning in from.
And of course, in case we have friends who are joining us here for the very first time, let us share a little bit about who we are and what this is all about. So Google Developers Space is a home for developers and startups from the region to learn, connect, engage, and be inspired. We want to empower and connect the community to our people, programs, network, and technology.
And La Kopi at Developer Space is a monthly open mic night for the developer community to learn, connect, and be inspired by one another. So every month, a tech team is selected, and this month's theme is Android.
Yay.
And today we have a total of 3 speakers joining us. So they are from all over the region. So we have speakers from Singapore, Indonesia, and Pakistan. So feel free to submit your questions on YouTube live chat and Facebook, wherever you're tuning in from. So for this La Kopi, we have Martha from HiColleagues sharing about implementing Grpc in Android, Myat from Lomotif and our Android GDE, who will be sharing how you can use Kotlin's flow on Android app development, and Nabiha from ZONG on how you can build interactive apps with Firebase cloud messaging.
Well, without further ado, let us welcome our very first speaker, Martha Sutopo. So Martha is the founder and CEO of HiColleagues in Indonesia. She has experience in back-end, front-end, Android application. Basically, she knows everything. And Martha also loves learning new things, sharing knowledge to encourage others and help them achieve their career goals. So today, Martha will be sharing with us about implementing Grpc framework in Android, along with all these advantages and disadvantages. So we'll hear about the best practices and the comparison of REST API versus RPC, and the sharing of how developers can implement source code Grpc in Android. Well, over to you, Martha.
Hi. Okay, thanks for having me. And yeah, hi everyone. I'm Martha. So today I'm gonna talk about how to implement Grpc in Android. So yeah, this is a little bit my introduction. I'm a founder and a CEO at HiColleagues. So HiColleagues is a startup company in Indonesia. I'm also working as a senior backend developer in a number second logistic company in Indonesia too. And I've been working for about 7 years in IT industry. And actually, I love learning new things, and then I love share my knowledge to everyone. And yeah, I have implemented several programs with using Java, Delphi. Delphi is an old programming language that I ever use it. But it's been a long time. I've never used that anymore. And I use Golang for the backend. I use Kotlin, Swift for the iOS, and Flutter, Vue.js. And then I actually have several projects one of them is Android app. My team and I have built Android apps with implementing Grpc on those applications. So one application is for teacher, one is for students. So yeah, let's move on to the next slide. So what is Grpc? gRPC is a modern open source high performance remote procedure call framework that can run in any environment. So gRPC is developed by Google in 2015. So that's why the name is gRPC, Google RPC. And then you can efficiently connect services in and across data centers with pluggable support for load balancing, tracing, and health checking and then authentication. So when we look at this picture, there is one server and then two clients. Even can be more clients. But between them, they communicate with proto file. So for the make request, you have to have a proto file, and then the response should be in proto too. And yeah, there are several advantages of using gRPC. And yeah, first, high performance along with safety. So gRPC is high performance with Google Protobuf and HTTP2 protocol, which is multiplex single TCP connection, transport data as binary, enables duplex streaming or etc. And then duplex streaming. So with duplex streaming, that means allows client side and service streaming simultaneously. And then first-class load balancing. gRPC has built-in library feature. It can intelligently pick which backend to send traffic to. And the last is auto-generated client code. So gRPC have a protoc. So with protoc, we can easily generate the client code and server code. And also in gRPC have several disadvantages. So gRPC is different with Rest API. So gRPC there are no endpoints and cannot be tested by Postman or with Postman or Cool to check the response. So we can imagine that the Rest API you have to have like the endpoint and then the header for the authentication and then maybe the body, right? And in gRPC, you cannot just know about the endpoint or the request, but you have to have a proto file. So there is a contract between backend and the client. And then the second is you must update the proto if there is a changes in server. So let's say in the backend there is a changing proto file, maybe data type or maybe name of fields in proto file. From the backend, they have to send an updated proto to front end or mobile apps. So yeah. And then, so this is the differences between Rest API and gRPC. So gRPC has designed in HTTP2, but in Rest API, they still in HTTP 1.1. And then for the format, messaging format, gRPC is using protobuf or protocol buffers. But in Rest APIs still using JSON or XML and others. But and then in the gRPC they use a code generation, so that means native proto compiler. But Rest API can be used third-party solution like a Swagger. And then the communication, gRPC use a unary client request or bi-directional or streaming, but the Rest API only client request only. And then, this is a comparison of different serialization schemes. So actually, XML and JSON are similar comparison, but it's different in the processing speed. So yeah, proto is unreadable data. It's not for browser consumable or GS support, and then proto is hard to robustly decode without knowing the scheme. So look at this processing speed. So yeah, XML is lower than JSON. So that means XML is lower than JSON, and then the JSON is lower or less than proto, and that means JSON is lower than proto, but uh, proto is higher than JSON and XML. So that means uh, proto is faster than JSON and XML for the processing speed. And also proto is cheap. And for the interface, proto using RPC. Okay, and then for the validation, they use validation are easy with keywords. Okay, next. So who's using gRPC? So Netflix, Medium, 9gag, Slack, Square, Microsoft, Cisco, and many more have already using gRPC. And yeah, I will show you the code. Okay, I will close this. I think you cannot see the left side, this one. So actually, you have to go to build Gradle level application. So first of all, you have to add some dependencies in Android Studio. So here, this one is the dependencies you have to add. Okay. And then you have to add this code. Like this one, it's for generate the proto file here. Okay, after that, we change the view from the Android to the project. So I think, yeah, you cannot see this one. In this application package, we can expand this package, and then you can expand in isRC, and then expand the main package, and then you have to create a new package, okay? And then you can name it maybe proto or something similar with proto. Okay, when we open this, there are several proto files. So let's say I will show you the account.proto. Okay, so this is the proto file looks like. Actually, as a mobile developer, we don't need to think about how to create a proto file, because a proto file it should be created by a backend developer. Okay, and as a mobile developer, must understand how what this is mean, or what does it mean? Yeah. So this one, there are several RPC. Okay. So let's say I use account login. So that means for login function, right? So they have a login request and then the return for the response. So when we look at this login request, okay, they use message like this. Data type, the name of field, and then this one is number. This one same. But in the developer, I mean, like in the backend side, if they want to maybe add something, add more fields, they have to like this one string, maybe example equals 3, like this. But we cannot edit this as a mobile developer because it's only for backend side. Okay. So yeah, I think for the login request is like this, and then the simple response is the format is like this. There is a message, and then account login response. Account login response, that means here. Let me see. Yeah, there is ID, email, token, HP, phone number, birthday, picture, and many more. Okay, so after you have a proto file, you change the Android view, okay? And when we look at this, okay, you have to, this one, build, go to the build, and then first of all, you have to clean project. And after you clean the project, you have to rebuild the project. That means the proto file will be automatically generated. Okay. And how do you know, or how do we know is the proto file is generated? We can look at this. There is a Java generated package here. So this one, it should be there when you clean the project and then rebuild the project. So here, when I expand here, and there is here, yeah, in here there is an account service Grpz. So we cannot edit this file because this file is generated. Okay, so yeah, after you generated the file, we take a look in the package Java, and then I put in the data services and a user service. Okay, so yeah, first of all, oh, sorry, I forgot something. You have to set Grpz first. Here, where? Here. So you have to have you have to create a Grpz class, and then the function name is, yeah, it's up to you. And then this one, the manage channel builder for the address, you can put the address here, and then the port. Okay, and then yeah, just using this code, execute, use plain text, and then build. After you create this class, you can use this class in this service. I name it a user service. Okay, and then I create a variable name is top, and then account service Grpz. This one and this one, it should be there when you after you generate the code. So this one, account service Grpz, when I click this one is from generated code, account service Grpz. Okay, just code like this, and then you can here maybe login. Okay, so I have a parameter name user, and then data type is login request. So why is login request? Because in this proto file account, we back to this file. For the RPC account login, they have to assign the login request here, message, login request, and then the return should be in simple response. So that's why in user service, here, login request dot builder, okay, and then the return should be in simple response. And then after that, we can create the channel. And then this one, Grpc, this class is here that I've created. And then yeah, just using account Grpc services to new blocking and then put the channel. Okay, and then request login request. So login request dot new builder set email and then set password dot build. Why there is a set email and set password? Even we didn't set the model, right? Because the login request, when we look at this, it should be with a generated file. So this one, email and password. So email and password here should be SMS like proto file, like a login request, like email and the password. So when you when the backend side adds more field, maybe example, when you generate the code, this one it should be same. There is automatically will add example same like that. So you cannot edit this. So we delete this and let's go back to this. Yeah. After you set the request, you have to call the response. So for the call the response is like this, stop.account login. So account login should be imported by here because the name is account login, so that's why it's account login. If it's account sign up or account update password or update profile, same. Yeah. Maybe if I change like account what, you can change to get more. So, but you have to be same request like this one. Account get more. The type for the request is different because account get more. When we look at this profile, account get more. The request is an empty request, so it doesn't send message. So yeah, if you want to be same, like you have to like this one. Request this one empty request like this. Okay. So go back, undo. Okay. And after that, you have to return the response of this function. Yeah. You can termination the channel after you got the reply, and then the channel you have to shut down. Yeah. And that is for the login. So I think, wait a minute. So actually you have to, okay, wait.
Hey, Martha.
Yeah, hi.
I think we are overrunning a little. So yeah, but I see that a few questions are coming in. So maybe it'll be great to address those questions, and then yeah, perhaps we could elaborate a bit more in the comment section after this. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
questions coming from the audience that we want to try and address along the way.
yeah. So I think first question is similar to one of the questions we got during registration. So Chandra, he asked, how is gRPC different from REST? And how do we usually debug the response from the backend? Yeah, when you're using REST, we could use Code or Postman.
Okay, actually, for a test to gRPC, we have to use the name is Bloom RPC. So we cannot test with Postman. Yeah, actually, after this, I want to show what Bloom RPC looks like actually, but the time is now. Yeah.
If you could share a link, that would be great, and then they can head over to the link.
We cannot hit the link. So maybe I think, can I share maybe 1 minute?
Sure. Let me just add your, yep.
So yeah, this is the Bloom RPC looks like. So maybe I will delete this. I close this, and then here I have to have a proto file, account with proto, and then account login. So this one, I think I cannot zoom in. By the way, sorry. Maybe let's say Martha idea id. The password is here. So actually, the response is similar with a JSON, but actually, to get this request or to get to make a request or to get the response, you have to have a proto file. Yeah. So there is no method like REST API have a put, delete, get, post, but in gRPC they don't have that. Yeah.
Thanks for answering it so thoroughly. We'll jump on to one more question, and then there's actually a few more questions going, so you might want to jump into the comment section to reply. We'll just take one more. So Minhaj on Facebook, he says he's also a developer himself, and he wants to ask how can he accelerate himself to do his own startup. So I guess it's an inspirational question. How did you get started, Martha?
Oh, it's about startup.
Yes.
I don't think I can answer this question, but actually I mean, like, if you know the technology, I mean, I don't know. Sorry, I mean, like, what this question means. Like, do you want to know how to build a startup or what?
I guess how can okay, I will interpret it as how can I get better at what I do and maybe even be motivated to start one. What
Okay.
motivated you?
Okay. Actually, for the build a startup, you have to know the problem first. Like in this world, there are so many problems, right? So you have to solve that problems. So that's why we build the startup about maybe one problem, and then you can solve the problem. That's what I think. Yeah, I can. That's the answer.
Yeah, I love where you come. It's always the kind of solving user first, what their pain point is. Okay,
Yes.
so we'll move you on to the backstage now. But there are more questions on the YouTube channel. If you want to hop in there and answer it over text, we still have Harsh and Chandra if you need a little bit more explanation. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Martha.
Yeah.
And next up, we have Myat, Senior Android Developer at Lomotif and our Android GDE. She'll be sharing about Kotlin's flow and how it helps to write reliable apps. There will be a demo demonstrating a look at the basics from API calls to UI. And you'll also learn how flows enable writing safe, reliable apps and how it can strengthen your app development. The stage is yours, Myat.
Thank you so much for your introduction. Okay, hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about Kotlin's coroutine flows and Android app development. Hi again, my name is Sue. Currently I belong to Lomotif company based in Singapore as a senior Android developer. In case you don't know Lomotif company, so we do social video remixing app with over 150 million downloads and consistently appears in the top charts of the App Store's photo and video category in Brazil's and the US respectively. Okay, in this talk, I will talk about where the common predicate for flows and Android app development, and you will learn about Kotlin flows, where to use, and how flow help to write reliable applications. I present using a simple application which you can reference for the real-world large application. The symbol will dive straight in and have a look at the basics, getting from API calls, local storage to our UI, only using the Kotlin flows with the live data and view model and the repository pattern. After this talk, you will see how flows enable writing safe and reliable, and how it can strengthen your app development. Okay, let's jump in the part one. So where are the common use cases? There are the most practical common use cases, making a request to network and accessing the internet storage. For those kind of long-running operation, we use RAjava and Kotlin Coroutine floats nowadays. So why floats? Why not RAjava? So RAjava is very powerful too, but they have many features like observables, single labels, flow level, completable, and maybe operators. So we just stick for learning curve. And why flow? The reason is that you cannot use JVM specific libraries like RAjava in your Kotlin multi-platform projects. So Flow it's a answer. Flow it's a part of the Kotlin language. So it's ideally to use in Kotlin multi-platform projects. And also, Kotlin has fewer operators and they are much simpler than the RAjava has. A single operator can handle both synchronous and asynchronous logic, since the blocks of the code that operators can accept can be suspended. So let's dig more about the Kotlin flows. Kotlin Flow is a new string processing API developed by JetBrains. It's an implementation of the reality streaming specification. An initiated goal is to provide a standard for the asynchronous string processing. So what is exactly Flow? Flow is interoperable with other reality streams and Coroutine. Since it's built on top of the Coroutine, it provides all the pixel, stretcher, concurrency, and cancellation. And the main goal of Coroutine is to simplify asynchronous work by getting rid of callbacks. Coroutine saves us from callback hell by giving us the possibility to render asynchronous codes. Okay. For basic, let's study basics. There are flow builders and flow operators. We use flow builder to create a new flow, and use operators to transform the flow. This is the sample of how flow builder code look like. We use flow to create a flow from a suspendable lambda block. Inside the block, declare the names white, black, pink, etc., assigning it to the names variable. And after that, I used a for loop to go through the list of the names, purpose which will emit each name after a small delay. And after that, I use emit to send the value to consumers. And but below there are the other way of implementation for the flow builders. So it's kind of easy flow declaration. You can use flow to create a flow from a fixed set of values, or you can use flow to convert various collections and sequence. Okay, flow operator. There are two operators in flow. intermediate, and the terminal. In intermediate, map and filter. So map transform the value. In this example, maps transform from name string variable to the integer. And then you can use filter to select the specific value that meets a condition. Right now, the condition will be select below the 5. After the flow will emit a value once at a time. The operation execute only when you invoke a terminal operator on the final string. This is how maps and filter work. You can see clearly. The first time I assign the string value. After that, I use a map to transform integer. After that, I filter below the 5. Okay. Terminal operator. So terminal operator is just collect function. Collect is a suspend function. It can only be called from a coroutine. The reason why we wrap the code with the running block. As you start collecting the value, you get one at a time, and you don't block while waiting for a new value. So we knew the basic now. So it's how like the collect operator works. So we knew about the basis, flow beta, and the operators. So it's time to make our hands dirty. Our person using this sample, it's already architect. It's architect sample movie display that will help you. That will like dive straight in how I implement flows for getting API call and the local storage, and then I used live data for the UI as an observable. And you can check it out, the project link here for more detail. Here is a sample project. You can go there and check it out there. Okay. This is the sample app architecture. This sample follows the Google recommended architecture guideline, and which help you to reduce your boilerplate code, reusable and testable. Basically, in here, live data will help you to communicate between the UI and then the view model. And the flow will do the rest of the repository and the data source. Let's get started with the data layer. The data layer is data source. So in here, and based on the architecture, we have like 4 layers. The below one data source, we name it data layer, and the repository layer, which is usually we store the business logic, and the view model we call like presentations layer, which is usually hold the data for the UI layer. Okay. Let's get started again. The data layer. Data layer is responsible for providing data, usually by reading data from a database or fetching the network. In this example, I use retrofit for consuming the Rest API, and we don't need to add any additional dependency because the retrofit supports suspend functions, coroutine suspend functions since the retrofit version 2.6.0. So we just need to add suspend function in front of the API call here to return the desired object. It's same for the room database as well. Coroutine supports in room for one-shot read and write since room version 2.1.0. So you can directly use flow instead of the suspend, because room 2.2 are now have support for observable reads with the flow, enable to get notified or changes in your database. So this is So this is like showing for the data source layer. So we finish, this is how we finish data source part with the Coroutine suspend function. So easy, right? So let's move on the repository step. Usually we hold, as I said, usually we hold business logic in the repository layer. In this example, let's say the get movie list is our business logic. So we want a movie list. It can be from the local storage or network base, based on our needs. Basically, for the first step, basically we would like to send the loading to appear in for the UI. We are like calling right now the data is consuming, showing the loading, something like that. And then to update the UI, and then second step, call the data from the local storage. If the data is exit in local storage, we will show the local data first, while we downloading the new data. And the second one, we call the API. Once we receive the value, we store in the database first. After that, we will submit the new data from the database, local storage. Okay, this all handled through the flow. And for the view model, there could be a couple of options to handle flows in view model. Right now we have repository, which returns all data through flow. So how do we handle the data? Handle the data, and then how to sync the data to our UI? In this example, I use flow.as live data extension function to convert from flow to live data. This is a very convenient, since it will share a single underlying subscription to the flow and will manage the subscription based on the observer lifecycle. And for the live data, also keep the most recent value for late coming observer and the subscription added across the configuration changes. So this is how I retrieve data through repository all the way to live data, which will observe in the UI. And here I would like to mention about the live data. There are two live data type, mutable live data and the live data. I just use live data because I don't want to modify outside of the view model classes, and I only want view model to modify push a value to live data to retrieve the data through the repository. Finally, this is how we retrieve the data through the live data from view model for the UI. So this code is in the UI part. So I show all the way from the data source to the UI using the flow and live data. Yay. So you can keep learning on the official websites. As a summary, you learned about the Kotlin flows, where to use, and then getting the desired data from the network API calls local storage using the Kotlin flow, and which is really easy to implement. And then you learned about the application architecture with a 4-layer. Now you can strengthen your app development with the flows. So any question?
Thanks, Myat. We have a question from registration, but I think the questions from live Q&A, people might still be adding them on. So let's go through the registration questions one first. I think a very common question you probably get a lot about debugging. So yeah, how does someone add logs into inflow to debug properly, and what are some best practices?
Okay, so in Flow, it's really easy to debug. You can point out in here, I think I should show with the Android Studio. Fortunately, I cannot show. So I will show this sample. So beside the image, you can point out and you can see like how it can retain. So it's so easy. And the rest of the things just finish with the simple sequence step. which is like, I want to send loading, just emit, it's done. So if you want like the emit loading event is probably sent or no, you can point out here and just check it out. Especially for me, yeah. I usually trying to check for the API response. So for me, it's like I check the variable response. So I point out here and try to wait. Once I receive the result, the Android Studio will help you show the which API response you got. So it's like so easy. You can do a lot of debugging in here. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, next.
Thanks for answering that.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Sumit. It's a really great and clear presentation. I love how you did this. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
This is how I love the flow, Coroutine flow. Yeah. Forgot already about the RA Java. Oops. Okay.
I think a question from Chandra just came in from YouTube, but due to time constraints, we'll be moving on to our third speaker. So Myat, feel free to head over to the YouTube link to reply.
Okay, I will.
Thank you so much.
Really
Thank
love
you. Bye-bye.
Okay. So, without further ado, our final speaker, we have Nabiha Iqbal from one of our Women Developer Academy program, and is a software engineer with over 3 years experience in Android development. So she's developed and maintained cross-platform apps and is always looking for new updated mobile-based technologies to learn and share. So she'll be talking today about how you can use push notification across platforms to millions of users via Firebase cloud messaging. You'll learn how to configure Firebase in Android apps and compose notification on Firebase console. So we're really looking forward to hear about your project, Nabiha.
Thank you, Janice, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing well and staying safe. So today I would like to discuss how to build interactive apps with Firebase Cloud Messaging. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Nabiha Iqbal. I'm a software engineer and I'm currently working at ZONG. So let's come to our topic. So with this picture, every developer can relate this. So sometimes every developer can face some problems, common app development problems, like we have updated our app and we have to send the notifications to million of users, and we also want to make sure that a user get a notification. So if we create a service, then we have to write a lots of line of code, and it is time consuming. And being a developer, you know that we have to develop it and then test the code and then maintain it. So it is time consuming and less productive as well, because instead of focusing on our main features of our application, we just in parallel also focusing on the notification code as well, maintain that, and also compose the notification. So to solve this problem, Firebase has a solution, Firebase Cloud Messaging. Firebase Cloud Messaging, so why we use Firebase Cloud Messaging? It's basically it's free first, and we can send a notification across any platform using this Firebase Cloud Messaging, like on Android, on iOS, and web on just one click. So or we can also customize the notification content and also add a app icon as well, and also customize it and also notify it in any way what we want. And the most important is that we don't need a coding. We just go to Firebase console, log in with our Google account, and create a project, and just configure it with our Android application, and just compose a notification and send it efficiently. So let's see how to use Firebase Cloud Messaging. I will demonstrate it to you with a live demo. So here we have an Android Studio, and I have created a sample app. So now let's see how can we configure it with our Firebase. So let's first move to the Firebase console. Here it is a Firebase console dashboard, and I've created a sample project. You can create it just to click on the add button and just add some information related to it, and your project is created. So when I click on it, here you can see the left menu, all this stuff, in-app messaging, cloud messaging, all it. But right now I'm just focusing on cloud messaging. So when I click on it, project setting, you can see all the information related to our project. And this is a main under your apps. You have to add an apps. Like I have already added this application sample FCM app that I have just shown you in Android Studio. So let me show you that how can we add it an Android application. So first you need to register an app, and you have to enter an Android package name and also your name. Signing certificate is an optional. So you just need to click on next button, and then JSON file, you just download it and then just copy paste it in the Android Studio app folder under this. Here you can see. So now let's dig in what is in the JSON file. So in the JSON file, we have a project ID that we have just created in our Firebase console, and also all that services and the API key as well. And now the next step after copy paste the JSON file is that we have to plug in it the Google Services JSON file that we have just downloaded. So what you want to do is you have to just add a Google Maven directory in the build.gradle file. There are two Gradle files basically at the project level and at the app level. So also the class path added. You have an option for the Java and Kotlin both, and then also apply a plugin that for it. Just copy paste that line in here, like I have shown you in the Gradle file. Yeah, implement it, and in the app level as well, you can just add it in the dependencies like Google services. You need to add it. So after that, you just sync the Gradle project after making changes in the Gradle files, then click on next. So here you go. You just you have done all of the steps that you need to configure SDK FCM in your Android Studio. So just go to the console, and here you go to the cloud messaging tab. Yes. So this is how now we will see how can we compose a notification. So these notifications that I have, so I click on new notification button. So there are just some tabs: notification title, enter it, text, and then image. This is basically with the price plan and optional right now for the free notification name as well. And there is also one more feature that if you want to test the notification that how it looks before sending to all users, to millions of users. So you can just connect your application and then send this message as well. Then, okay, so for the sample, I just added data loaded. Okay, I want to notify it to my users. So I click on next button, and then I have to go to the user segment. Here we just need notification. You can see. I think I'm getting some error. So let me show you from here. Yeah. So when you enter all this information here, then you just move to the target. In a target application, what you have to do is you just need to select application that you want to target and you want to send a notification. Then schedule it. You can schedule it for the now or for the after 1 week or after 2 weeks, and then review it. And then here you get a notification content and a target app that you have target, and then publish it. Just when you publish it, then you can see in the notification on your app on Android device. So here you can see that the notification that I have sent will be shown there in the application. Right now it is a screenshot because due to shortage of time I can't show you the actual notification on my Android device. So this is the total demonstration of the notification. So if you have any questions, then we can ask.
Thanks, Nabiha. I think the questions, we have a few questions from YouTube, but
Okay.
no worries. Maybe we can also go through the questions that we got from registration.
Okay.
So one of the question is, how does the developer have to implement a separate notification class that pulls the backend and informs Firebase?
Okay, so like I already mentioned that there is no need to code it. You just go there to the notification, compose notification on the console, and then just publish it. Then it is automatically sent to all users. So no need to code or no need to create a new class for particular to send a notification. You just send it using a console, Firebase console.
Nice. And let's address some questions coming in from YouTube. So Carl is asking, he's been using Firebase in the app, but sometimes the app doesn't receive the notifications even though it's connected to the internet. What could be the possible issue?
First of all, I think you need to just see the settings in the cloud messaging, go to that in an Android console. Then after that, you see sometimes it's happened that if you change the signature certificate, if you added that and after that you change it, then sometimes it happened that you didn't get a notification. So just check that. And after that, if still error comes, then do let me know. You can connect me over the LinkedIn and also the email, then I will help you.
Thank you so much, Nabiha. I think there are other people with that same problem who are saying, how can we guarantee the push notification? So yeah, if you're still having problem, you can feel free to reach out to Nabiha over LinkedIn as well. She's got her contact information there and her email too. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks everyone for staying. I know we overshot a little. So now we're just going to wrap up the session really quick and we're going to move Nabiha backstage. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, what a great lineup today.
Yeah, I think we had 3 amazing speakers and all sharing their projects and showing us demo on how it can be done. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us on a Thursday evening. And so if you like to rewatch the session, I think there were some comments that you tune in a bit later. So if you want to catch what happened earlier in the session, you can always check out our website or our social channels. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And do stay connected with us by signing up to our email list. Yeah, and we will share all our upcoming events through there as well. So we also like to share a couple of exciting events that are coming up. So next week, we actually have a startup coffee chat and the topic is about scaling data. So we are really excited for this session. We have the head of data from Shopback and Gojek as well joining us to share best practices on how your startup can scale data. And I think yeah. And most of you would know Google I/O is back online for this year, and it's going to be happening on May 18 to 20th. So do go to the link g.co/IO to sign up and register for the event.
I know I/O is usually so hard to get tickets to, so I'm super excited that it's now free for everyone. And luckily and unluckily because of COVID, we now all get to access it. What a great time!
Yeah.
Yeah, and lastly, of course, we want to hear your feedback about this event because it's so important to us. You can provide us with your email address in your feedback form and you can stand a chance to win some gifts. We'll be selecting 5 lucky winners, so remember to check your inbox later this weekend. So meanwhile, stay tuned for our upcoming events on our website and social channels, and we look forward to see you again.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, bye. See you. Good night.
Bye.